that? It feels like yesterday when you see that video every time, even almost 10 years later as we watch that. And today, there's still new evidence coming to light. And this evidence is that Iran may have known about the September 11th attacks in advance. May, in fact, have even been involved in helping to plan them. This is coming from testimony from two defectors from Tehran's intelligence service, and it's being heard in a federal lawsuit that was brought by the families of 9/11 victims. Robert Strang, the former co-chair of the New York State Legislative Anti-Terrorist Task Force, is with me. He is the CEO of Investigative Management. Bob, welcome. Always good to have you here.
Martha. Good to be here.
What do you think of that? I mean, what do you think of that revelation? Think it's true?
This is something that the 9/11 task force, our task force in New York, everyone has looked at for years. There's never been the kind of proof or evidence that we needed. We know that, that the Hezbollah, that different terrorist organizations, both in Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan, had worked together prior to 2001. We don't know specifically whether or not they planned the attack on the World Trade Center, and that's always been a loose piece of evidence. But it seems now, with this particular lawsuit, that perhaps these two major spies who had worked in Iran have turned the corner here and might be providing evidence to give us that information that we needed.
Do we know anything about the specifics of what they're saying about the connection?
We don't, but you've got to remember that they lie, because we've had other cases in Afghanistan where top officials lie just because they want to change the government, they want to do different things. So it's always very difficult for us to figure out whether or not they're even telling the truth or not.
One of the big sort of barriers to believing that initially was always the religious differences. Obviously Iran is a largely Shiite country, almost completely Shiite country, and Al-Qaeda is a Sunni organization.
Right.
Their radicalism in that sense is at odds in some ways.
Right, and then throw in the Hezbollah connection with Iran, throw in the Hamas connection. It's complicated, and there are conflicts between these different sects. But the one thing that they have in common, and the one thing that they always get together for, is when it comes to attacking or hurting the United States, suddenly they put their differences aside and they seem to work together. So it wouldn't surprise me if we were to get some information that would show us that, in fact, they had something directly to do with this.
Yeah, it's very troubling to even think about, and, it feeds into the fears of what may happen, because everybody's so worried now that there might be some repercussion to the killing of Osama bin Laden.
Right. I mean, if you look at this and you think that there might be some truth to it, Iran certainly is a power in the region. There's no question with their capabilities, their nuclear capabilities, and their connections with these terrorist organizations. And when you look now with the death of Osama bin Laden and the fact that we're on alert here in the United States, it's kind of it's a scary time. The government's quickly going through evidence, trying to find out what's happening, and we have to worry not only about these major organized groups that are trying to attack us, but we have to worry about some of these homegrown terrorists that just pop up anywhere. So it's a very difficult time for the intelligence analysts. It's a very difficult time for the police. This is kind of a rare moment in history that we have to deal with so many different factors when it comes to attacking us.
All right, interesting. Bob, thank you very much.
Okay, Martha,
Bob
anytime.
Strang, always good to see you.
Thank you.